60 on page 153.
Sir, that hits the second hair coupon. What? The Roach Emperor, or I'm sorry, Angezaphizer Kaiser. Lucio made a grave mistake of fucking around too much and got no-scoped by Gregor's arm. Now, it will be good if it just stops there, but Valencia just had to bully him further with insect racism until he fully snapped. So, as per usual, now we have to deal with the consequences. This has to be one of the best bosses in the game. First of all, we have Virgilius genuinely tryharding in order for all of us to stay alive. Like, if Buddy somehow wasn't manifesting as a Basilian shield every turn, we will be goners. The fight mechanic requires a decent amount of brain cells, but it isn't too hard to figure out, and overall, it's just a great fight. So yeah, shoutouts to Gregor, shoutouts to his stepmother which drugged him as a child, shoutouts to these idiots, and shoutout to the guy who keeps cooking up these soundtracks. I feel that Melee gets all of the applause when it comes to the game's music, but we really need to give some more appreciation to the fact that every boss battle theme is a genuine ear blessing. Overall, it's just on peak fight. Matthias, now this is definitely one of the coolest fights in the game. Sure, you're kind of in a cuck chair where you just watch the big guys fight, and if you dare step in, you get absolutely disintegrated, but at least we can listen to majestical music and beat up his kind of daughter which he later on slices in hell. Not cool, Matthias, but she kind of had it coming for being so brain-rotted. Other than the cool variety of attacks each side does, we also have an old baddie chain-smoking flavored crack. So yeah, in terms of composition, I don't think anything can beat this fight, right? Butter my butt and call me a biscuit. What? I tried googling what this means, but all I found is this cursed image, so tell me in the comments if you do know. Either way, Lei Hang is the ultimate aura farmer. From cool voice lines to rage bait expertise and badass attacks, he's truly got it all. The only reason he didn't whoop our ass is because Honglu whispered some poetry ASMR into Dante's ears, which allowed him to bend reality and nerf Lei Hang to our level. And then we just passed the controller to our big bro, which is the biggest kind of cheating, but oh well, I'm sure our biscuit is somewhere in heaven now. Sure, he killed probably like 1 million people, but hopefully God gave him a pass out of respect. Though the same can't be said for his alcoholic female alter ego, Valencia. Now, her boss fights team may be majestical, but she lost all of her aura when she hid behind a child hostage for like hours in order to distract Virgilius. I mean shit, I can't lie, I'd be pissed scared against this guy too, but surely there's better methods, especially when you have a literal Jarvis system in your head with which you can dodge like crazy. I also find it impressive how she can beat her student to the point where they have 20% less HP but can still fight like a ninja Power Ranger. Like, there has to be some abuse science behind this, or maybe Lucio is just that good. Who knows? And honestly, it's understandable she's a bit crazy after she was an insect World War I and also went from hero to zero in a few days in her career, which led to her family dumping her. But she's pretty cool. Cromer. Now some like her for, you know, certain reasons, some like her for other reasons, and a few people don't like her. But she'll always have some respect from me cause she was the first boss to whoop my ass. I remember my level 20 default ID ass genuinely becoming hopeless once I found out she had a second phase. Honestly, I think it's a shame more people don't experience the Limbus Raw Dog free-to-play experience where you gotta try hard clashing and gambling as if you're playing Library of Ruina. Most streamers I've seen instead hide behind the newest OP ID or ego while spamming win rate. And I mean, that's a fun of its own, so I can't blame them. I'd probably be doing that as well if I wasn't broke. Anyways though, she's cool and I support her crusade against robots since like they and AI are kind of starting to take over Earth rights now. Like I swear, every single app nowadays has their own fuck-ass AI. Snapchat AI, Microsoft Copilot, Zoom AI, WhatsApp and Instagram Meta AI, Pinterest AI, Reddit AI, Amazon AI and even Uber AI. And like a great quote once said, I say your civilization because as soon as we started thinking for you, it really became our civilization. So yeah, sorry Sinclair, but your family is kind of retarded for transforming themselves into a bunch of clankers. I'd like her to be in heaven, but she very probably isn't, so I guess she's just cool. Jiamu, she's just a soup of everything. 100 shit to read, 100 kinds of buffs and debuffs, then she kidnaps Honglu and then we have to get him back, all while she just keeps giving herself shield. This was probably the longest fight I've ever had to do and it was genuinely annoying. Besides this, she's also responsible for a genocide of like a shit ton of people and has spent her life worshipping an ancient form that lives in her, so So yeah, easiest hell ever. Rien, he's a cool character and his fight was pretty cool, but we have some important things to address. First of all, he's a little bitch whose life purpose was to imitate the life of Roland, but he kind of sucked at it. Roland at least had a cool arc where he lost his wife to a tragic event and then was a badass on his own. This guy had a prescript just baby walk him through every step of his life and also made him watch his own wife and kids die just so he could be like Roland. They even gave him a Timo version of his quote as well. Having your life be dedicated to being a cheap replication of another man is not only gay but is also extremely depressing. And also, I don't know why, but for some reason he never read the endings of the stories he read to Yoshida, which I mean is just ridiculous. You may think this is irrelevant, but if I was a child and my father told me 100 stories but never finished them, I would actually crash out. Sure, I get it, practicing imagination and all of that, but come on. Anyways, this guy is such a loser, and the worst part is that he isn't even aware of it, so honestly I just feel bad for him. Callisto, not really an interesting character. He creates art out of people's guts, but I mean that's a pretty normal hobby for the city. However, I do appreciate that his fight requires like one brain cell to beat while still being super cool, which is, you know, a really enjoyable change after dealing with Blue Star's bullshit. Like truly, I don't just have a skill issue, but she was a genuine underrated pain in the ass, especially when at my disposal I only had my team's worst IDs. So yeah, Callisto, he's cool and Blue Star can get out! Like just put the spiders in the web, bro. All G-Corp head manager, this guy's just straight up irrelevant and ugly, so he's going straight to hell. Answer my riddle 3 and I'll let you live. I don't know. Zilu. Have you figured it out yet? Joy, happiness. You have to be kidding me. Yeah, that's basically the whole fight summarized. He's essentially a monk doomsayer and isn't really a bad guy. However, I'm not sure can I forgive him for decapitating our biscuit, but I guess it's not really his fault, so he's pretty alright. Ahab, now even though she's the bad guy for traumatizing Fishmail, I've got to say it does take skill to survive inside of a radioactive veil for a longest time whilst maintaining the morale of all of your crew. Overall, she's not really significant and I don't really see her as a bad guy. She's just a batshit crazy unk obsessed with killing the veil, so Ishmael stealing that is kind of the best revenge she could have gotten. But she did survive and join the Illuminati, so who knows, maybe she'll be back. The Time Ripper, this is a generally underlooked boss, but if you're like me and have been molested by school into reading the book Crime and Punishment, you've got to appreciate how much Kim Ji-hoon can reflect its world in a completely different fantasy scenario. That aside, the Time Ripper isn't really a villain, it's just a bunch of poor people who somehow got together and merged into a serial time killer robot who takes time from the rich and then spreads it amongst themselves, aka the poor. The soundtrack is buzzing, they have cool fight moves and it's funny seeing the brains argue and get pissed when you hit them. So overall, it's just a cool and well designed boss. They really aren't shiny or special, but I think they are still worthy of heaven, or almost. Now, forget any glaze I've said about anyone else, Ricardo is literally him. He has a sick boss battle team playing wherever he goes and then simply mugs you in every aspect before reducing you to dust. I remember him whooping my ass so hard that I literally thought it was a scripted defeat. And all of that just because you stole his hair coupons. And he's persistent, alright, even when we got saved by an old pal in Kanto 5, he returned 3 Kantos later to get revenge, but then got jumped by a bunch of black people, so yeah, his luck really sucks. And honestly, I'm just waiting for him to return again down the line in like Kanto 12, but now we at least have a Heathcliff idea of him, so he's gonna need to step up his game. Anyways, he's going into heaven for sure. So what's your favorite boss, and do you agree with my judgment of all of these goons? Make sure to let me know in the comments. Also, please subscribe or else Ricardo will write you up in the Book of Vengeance. Anyways, thank you a lot for watching, shoutouts to my Patreons and server boosters, and I'll see you next time.